What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Live Game, episode 94. This is the average man's perspective on football. I'm your co-host Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
Next up,
What was that? What was that?
Darren knew what it was. Next up is Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
Next up, we got a special guest tonight, Darren. Say what up, Darren.
Long time no see.
Well, welcome.
We will have Brian, aka Eddie Kane Jr., aka Teddy. What's the dude's name? From the Temptations. What is his name? Ruffin. What is David Ruffin?
David Ruffin.
Yeah, David Ruffin. Joining us shortly, soon as he get his technical difficulties out the way. Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. So if you're watching on YouTube, we're also on Facebook in our Facebook group, The Live Game. We're also on Twitter at The Live Game 3, and you can catch us on Instagram at the official Delay of Game. We were not here last week. We had some prior obligations, but we are back this week. Who's hosting? Mark?
I'm hosting. That's correct.
We'll go ahead and start us off, Mark.
Thank you so much, Marcus. We're going to also get into some NFL news. Then we're going to talk about some hot topics. We don't have too much to review as far as games that we picked last week, but we do a couple of games from last week to just review. Then our picks for the following week, and then we'll wrap it out with our final thoughts. We're going to start off with the news of the week. Since we don't have Mr. Holly here, Darren, would you like to you like to take the honors of reading that first news there?
Yeah, I got you. So Derrick Henry suffered a possible season-ending foot injury against the Colts today. On Sunday. Titans signed Adrian Peterson to their practice squad. Herman, we start with your thoughts on that. Yes, I did just call you Herman.
We don't discuss the
news. Wait a minute. That wasn't
the wrong part of the rundown.
Yeah, you on the wrong. Yeah. You on the wrong page, but it's okay. It's good. It's good.
My fault. I never hosted before.
That's good. The next news topic we're gonna talk about was the Las Vegas wide receiver Henry Ruggs was involved in a fatal car accident. He was arrested for a DUI and is facing 2 felony charges. If found guilty, he could face up mandatory 2 to 20 years in prison. The Raiders have released him the day after the accident. This is some sad news, you all. We not, I guess, get too much, but my heart and thoughts go out for the family and all that's involved with it. This is just a sad case. I mean, you can't. There's nothing really to say about that, man. This man has a whole future lined up, and he's messed it up. But
I hate to say it, but I knew something was gonna happen when they moved to Vegas. Some people can't handle the Vegas life, and
Yeah,
it's bound to happen. It won't be the last time, probably.
It's just immaturity and bad decision.
Right. Like the thing for me is like, I want to feel bad for him, but I can't. You know what I mean?
I don't.
It's like I watched Henry Ruggs since his freshman year at college. You know, and it's like sad to see him mess his future up, but it happened.
I can't feel bad for him because he survived.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the lady and her family.
She was young too. Right? She was like 23, 24.
23 years old. 23.
Somebody they lost their family because of his stupidity, man. So I'm just going.
It's just sad all the way around. It's sad. Marcus, you will read the next story.
Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad posted videos on Twitter showing times when OBJ was open and Bakerfield didn't throw him the ball. OBJ Sr. went on to say Bakerfield is either hating on OBJ or doesn't want him to shine. It might be time for both of them to go, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Bakerfield and OBJ.
Then they starting over again. I mean,
it's the Browns. When are they not starting over?
You're going to pick one. You're going to pick your quarterback, though.
Yeah. I just find it funny that we all got the wrong Ohio team wearing orange to be good this year.
Bruh, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't even want to look back and see what I predicted the Bengals to be. I think it was like
they already got more wins than most of us thought they were going to have.
I'm pretty sure.
And what's crazy is, I'm not sure what it is now, before they lost to the Jets last week, They were number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yep, in the whole AFC.
In the whole AFC.
Yeah, they were in the top.
They were. Yeah, it's crazy.
Herman, read the next story.
All right, so since Darian read about Derrick Henry, I'll jump down to the Broncos tight end Noah Fant is on the COVID list this week after testing positive. So he will not be playing this weekend against the Cowboys. And then also there was a big breaking story that came out today. Packers QB Aaron Rodgers is also on the COVID list. And he will miss. Yeah, Mr. John Wick himself. And he will miss this Sunday's game after testing positive. And there was a little bit of confusion apparently about whether or not Aaron Rodgers was vaccinated or not, because he said he was immunized. I can't even say immunized.
Is that?
I'm saying it wrong, but he said he was that. And he's been walking around as if he was vaccinated, not wearing his mask on the sideline and not wearing his mask to the press conferences and stuff. So now the NFL is looking into this because only vaccinated players are supposed to do that stuff. If you're not vaccinated, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to wear a mask and stuff. So looks like the Packers might be facing some fines or something from the NFL. Interesting. But his costume for John Wick was good though. You gotta get it.
It was awesome. It was nice. It was on point. It was on point.
It was on point.
Yeah. Wasn't there another news that they were looking at bringing in Bortles to?
Bortles is actually flying in. They're gonna sign him to the practice squad. Yeah, because he was with them during the off season. But Jordan Love,
springtime.
Yeah, Jordan Love will get the start this Sunday.
Well, we finally get to see what all the hoopla is about.
Yeah, hope he looks better than Jalen Hurts.
We shall see.
Oh,
all right, so that wraps up the news for the week. Now we're gonna get into some of the hot topics. There was a trade in the NFL. Von Miller was traded to the Rams for the second round draft choice and the third round draft choice. Would you guys think this is a good move or a bad move? Marcus, I'll let you start this off. What you think about it?
I mean, I don't know how good Von Miller is these days. I know one time he just saw a player. I mean, it can't hurt the Rams. I mean, to add him on defense along with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, it doesn't hurt. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move. I mean, I already know the Rams don't really care about draft picks because they just trade them all away anyway. So, I say it was a good move. I just it must be great for Von Miller. You go from a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs to, a one loss team. Yeah. So I mean that's a good move for him. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it was a good move.
It was a good move. Okay. Darren, what you think? What do you think about the move?
I thought it was a good move just because of the boost that it gives to their defense, regardless of how good it was already. Can't name an offensive line in the NFL that can block Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd, who was also a Pro Bowler coming off the opposite edge. So I just feel like it gives them an advantage in the playoffs where, you're going to need to rush the pass or you're going to need to get after the quarterback. Your defense has to step up in the playoffs more often. So might as well boost your defense. And like you said, the Rams always like to go all in. So if they're going to go all in, you might as well do it the right way when you got this type of roster with all this talent on it where you're actually a Super Bowl contender versus like last year, they're kind of teetering back and forth. They didn't really have the same roster for 2018, but now they're kind of back where they were. So I think it was a good move.
Herman, what you think?
What? Why are you on Facebook? Why are you not on the show, Eddie Kane?
I can't.
This dude.
I can't.
If you're going to be on Facebook, you can be on the show.
I don't think I necessarily like what they gave up for him. I mean, it's a good move because you're adding great talent to an already talented defense. And like Darian just said, I mean, you got to figure out how you're going to block up this line. I mean, how you're going to block up that beat with your offensive line. So on that sense, yeah, it's a good move. They must have had some competition. I did hear that, and Dallas is always rumored and stuff, but I did hear that Dallas had inquired about him also. So they must have had some competition to give up a second and a third. And then it's like Marcus just said, this is what the Rams do. They don't build through the draft. they don't care about the draft. They give up draft picks like it's candy on Halloween. They just handing them out. So for the draft, for them, they're obviously all in right now. We need to see how that's going to work out for them. But as of right now, it looks like a good move. In the long run, I don't think it is, because they're hurting themselves when it comes to the draft and drafting, depth and talent.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think is to be continued. I think right now, as far as if the Rams can make it to the Super Bowl and they get a Super Bowl win out of this would be a great move. With the pass rusher, they'd be able to put on other quarterbacks with that front line, the front seven. That makes the secondary even better. I think that would be time to tell. And then also you look at with the Rams getting, with the Broncos getting the second round, third round, what they make about with those rounds. I mean, those could be future stars, maybe future busts. So I think it's still to be continue on it. If I'm the Rams, then yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm gonna take that and run to the bank with it. But if they make it to the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl, I think it's all good for them. But I think the time has to tell surely what's going to turn out with the draft choice and how well Von Miller does in the Rams for the next year or so. So it's to be continued as far as I'm concerned. All right, next hot topic we can get into: the Pittsburgh Steelers traded Melvin Ingram, linebacker, to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 6th-round pick. Herman, I'll let you start this one. What do you think? Was this a good move? What do you think about it?
This is a great move for the Chiefs because they needed anything they could get on defense at this point. The thing that baffles me is the Steelers trade them to an AFC team. I mean, I get that you wanted to obviously they just wanted to unload them because they only got a 6th-round pick for them. But I wouldn't want to have to help out another AFC team. I wouldn't do that. Most teams don't do that, but I guess they just don't care. They didn't care at that point. But for the Chiefs, yeah, they needed this. They needed to do more things than just this, in my opinion, for that defense.
They should have got Von Miller.
They should have been on Von Miller. Yeah, and did this Ingram deal, and maybe
got both, huh?
Yeah, they should have
got every defensive player they could get.
Bad for them. Like literally, they can't stop at a red light right now. Like that's how bad it is.
Exactly. So this was a good move for the Chiefs, but they needed to do more. They needed to do more.
I agree. I think it was a good move for the Chiefs. We still kind of knew when we got Melvin Ingram, he's going to be a stopgap. I mean, he didn't. I mean, he was only there to add depth because of the JT Watt injury, and they wanted to have something backing him up at that particular time. Melvin got mad because his playing time diminished once Watt got back and Hightower played well. So once that started happening, he didn't get a chance to really get out in the field and do anything. But I think Kansas City really needed it more so than anything else. They like you say, they can't stop at the stop sign. They are terrible in defense. So that it's much needed. So I think it's a good move for Kansas City. Darren, who you think? What you think?
I think I do agree that it's a good move. But I think one thing that is going to help them with a lot is not being so dependent on their offense. Like they're so they're pressing so much on offense because they don't feel like the defense can stop. So they got to score in every drive. So if they start getting some sacks or some 3-and-outs because they got a better pass rush, I feel like that might help them out a little more as far as like the offense playing better, possibly. Like, but I feel like. I don't really know what's wrong with the Chiefs' offense right now, but I feel like helping their defense out is going to, improve them in the long term. If that makes sense.
I think they're under too much pressure. So they feel pressure to score every time they go out on the field because they know the defense can't stop anybody.
Right. It's like, we got no pass rush, no DBs. We're not getting turnovers. We're not getting sacks. We got to score every drive, basically.
Yeah, and they're putting too much pressure on themselves.
Hey, real quick, who was that made a comment about Ben? I couldn't see it real good. I agree with you. It's over. It's just a matter. We just ride it out for right now, bro. We just ride it out.
We keep trying to tell them it's time for them to put in the young boy.
No, I don't even say
that. Honestly, I think y'all have a better chance to make the playoffs with Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
I'm trying to tell them, man. I don't know why.
Anyway, let's get this back on track. Marcus, Melvin Ingram.
I mean, I'm pretty much going to go with what Herman said. I mean, it's good for KC. They just didn't do enough. And Eddie Kane Jr. said the defense played okay Monday night. It was the Giants.
It's the Giants. Yeah, I was gonna say it was the Giants.
Without Saquon, their wide receivers.
Right. Giants had no playmakers. They had no playmakers. Their wide receivers was dropping left and right. I mean, they didn't have the full arsenal to mess with. So
and they still only won by 3 points.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the reality is right now, Kansas City can't beat a good team.
Yeah.
They can't.
I agree right now.
They can't, and so Melvin Ingram will help, but it's just not enough. They should go for. They should get Von Miller. They should get every defensive player to change teams since the season started. They should be on the Chiefs team.
You know how we used to go in and like do the picks and be like, we would look at KC and just be like, all right, KC's winning. Like that's not the case. Like,
no,
True.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's afraid of KC right now. Nobody's afraid of KC right now.
Hey, look, the Packers just released Jalen Smith. They might as well go sign him too.
They're bad, but they're not that bad. Jalen Smith ain't gonna help that.
Listen,
they'll get worse.
Oh my god, the Packers' run defense is not good, and they cut Jalen Smith. That's just tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, for real.
This film is that bad.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. All right, so that does it for the hot topics. Last week we didn't get a chance to pick out games, but we're gonna do this the honest way, fellas. When we go through the week's games that we would have picked, you can tell us honestly who you'd have chose prior to the week, so we can play it that way. Okay.
My picks are on record.
Yeah,
yours on record.
Yeah, mine are on record.
I have it.
Good.
He sent it to me before the show.
All right, first game we're gonna start off with is the Packers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This game, the Packers won 24-21. Looking at the stats, Aaron Rodgers was 22 for 37, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. Leading rusher was A.J. Dillon, 16 carries for 78 yards. Leading wide receiver.
Hold on, Mark. One second.
Yes, sir.
One second. Hold on.
He's making a grand entrance. Are you kidding me right now?
Hey, Mr. Holly, what's happening?
What's happening?
He must.
I don't know if this is gonna work.
What the hell is that?
I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm on a tablet, so I don't know. We'll see.
We're just gonna enjoy it while we can, okay?
Your background looks really good.
Oh yeah, that was one of the backgrounds that they had.
Hey, we just starting with the picks of the games from last week that we would have picked if we were on the show last week, and just giving
I was listening.
You're giving us your fair assumption of who you would have took in this particular game. So I was reading.
I wish that was in the rundown because I didn't even. I'll be honest with you, man. I can't really give you a fair assessment.
Speaking of the rundown, y'all sent me the wrong rundown because this is all I got on that news section. I got one line.
I updated it because some people weren't putting their news stuff in like they usually do, so I had to update it.
Somebody didn't give somebody a chance to put their news stuff in like they usually do.
We were supposed to send a rundown to the guest on Tuesday.
Yeah, he got to read what I write. I make my own story, sir.
Remember?
There's a lot of news that happens up until the final hour, so I'm just gonna say that. But anyway, let's get back on track, fellas. We was reading the stats for Green Bay receptions. Aaron Jones with 7 catches for 51 yards. As far as Arizona's Cardinals, they ain't flipping over. Okay, there we go. Kyler Murray, 22 attempts for 33, 74 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Chase Edmonds, 7 carries for 30 yards, 1 touchdown. Andre Hopkins wasn't the leading receiver. AJ Green was with 5 receptions for 50 yards.
Until he started to play the last play.
We know one of them he didn't catch.
In this particular game, man, I would have taken the Cardinals on this one. So I would have took an L on it. This was a good game, man. I thought that I thought it would go down the wire. I thought it would go close, but Green Bay ended up pulling this out one. Brian, I'll let you tell us thoughts on this game. Who would you pick on it first?
I think I would have probably been with you, Mark. I think I would have picked the Cardinals. The Cardinals were the better team. Like you said, he didn't have two of his top wide receivers in this game, and you didn't anticipate the Packers actually running the ball as well as they did in this game. The running backs really made a lot of hay in this, getting that offense up and down the field. And the defense played very well against the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals did score, but when it came down to it, they were able to stop them and keep this. They basically had this game kind of under control for most of the game. So I think I would have picked the Cardinals. So I think I would have got this one wrong.
Marcus,
I probably would have picked the Cardinals. Even though I knew Cardinals was going to lose one game, but yeah, matter of fact, I know I would have after finding out that what's the wide receiver's name wasn't playing.
Devontae
Adams.
I still know because he was on a fantasy team. I forgot to mention him, but yeah, especially when I found out he wasn't playing, I definitely would have picked the Cardinals. But it was just a matter of time. The Cardinals were running somebody that could beat every high-powered offense has a game where they're not so high-powered, and it was like they stated before. Green Bay's defense showed up this time, and they actually helped kept the Cardinals in check. Pretty much kept Kyler Murray in check, and if it wasn't for that last play where homeboy just didn't turn around and catch the ball, the Cardinals probably couldn't win that game.
That play cost me a fantasy game. I lost a fantasy game by 0.8 points, and Kyler Murray was my quarterback.
And they said on that play, Kyler was trying to get his attention to tell him, "Hey, man, I'm trying to throw it to you," but I guess he didn't get the message.
Catch the audible.
He didn't get it.
Yeah.
Herman, who you at?
Yeah, I was picking the Cardinals on this game. They've been so hot and on fire. I wouldn't have picked against them. And it was a good game, but nobody is talking about who's the what's Green Bay's coach's name? I forget what his name is.
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur. They would have been. I think they should have been roasting him because of those two delayed games that Green Bay took at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. It seemed like the plays weren't coming in fast enough. And it was just like, what was he doing? That's what cost them from scoring that touchdown because of those delayed games. And they wound up kicking the field goal, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, like what is he doing? Like, how can you got
Aaron? They were on him. I think they were on him during the broadcast, but once they won the game, won the game, it kind of swept under the rug.
But you could tell Aaron Rodgers was on
fire
about that. Yeah, he was. But
that's a sign that it was LaFleur's fault because Aaron Rodgers gets mad when he doesn't get the play. Like he likes to make his audible.
He does, right? And it's like, what was LaFleur doing? So he's lucky that they won that game because he could have been roasted for that mess. But yeah, I was gonna pick the Cardinals on that one. There's no doubt about that one. Like you said, especially with Adams being out too. But it was a good game though. It was the first good Thursday night game we've had in a while.
Yeah, agree. Darren, who you took on this one?
So I took the Cardinals. I'm actually pretty high on them still, even though they lost to a team without their wide receivers. I just thought Green Bay's run game and Aaron Jones is honestly the reason why they were able to win the game, like besides the defense. But honestly, like you said, Matt LaFleur, the two mistakes at the end, if that would have been costly, I feel like some people would have been questioning like his decision making, the way they're doing Mike McCarthy right now a little bit. Yeah. But now other than that, I was real high on Arizona coming in this game. I thought it was going to be a shootout type of game, but it ended up being a defensive game more so. So I think I had both of those aspects wrong.
Yeah, looked like we all have missed out on that one.
Yeah.
All right, next game we will get into is going to be the Tennessee Titans. They won this game in overtime, 34-31 against the Indianapolis Colts. Stats for the game: you had Ryan Tannehill, 23 for 33, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Derrick Henry, 28 carries, 68 yards, 0 touchdowns. He hurt me in fantasy. AJ
he hurt himself.
A.J. Brown, 10 catches, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. The Colts, Carson Wentz, 27 for 51, 231 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Can we say how the interceptions happen real quick, please?
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Thank you.
Jonathan Taylor, 16 carries for 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr., 10 catches, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'll go ahead and let you. You can start out there and go. What you got? Who did you have first?
Okay, so I actually took the. Let me go back to the picture. I forgot this one. Oh, so I did take the Titans. Okay, so yeah, I took the Titans because I believe Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
In the NFL?
Have you seen Jalen Hurts?
No, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Okay, so minute 40 left in the game, tied up. You throw a left-handed pick six to lose the lead. How are you still the starting quarterback going into next week? Not even mentioning whatever this was. I know y'all saw that
with your left hand and your right hand.
Yeah.
But look, they said that him throwing that pick six actually is what kept them in the game. Because if they had took the same,
because they scored, right? Because they scored fast.
It was all planned.
Isn't that something?
Hindsight is 2020. Think about how you were looking at your TV when you saw that play. Like, did he really just do that?
Yeah.
You thought he was Patrick Mahomes for a second.
Yeah. No, that was a Jameis Winston move right there, for real.
But yeah, getting back on topic though, I picked the Titans. I just thought they were all around a better team. They're hot right now. I think they're on a 2 or 3 game winning streak. They're just a better team overall. I don't think it was that much of a hard pick. So.
Yeah, I would have took the Titans on this one too. Derrick Henry injury it's just unfortunate. You had a running back who was possibly was going to get another 2,000 yard. He was on mark to get another 2,000 yard rushing year that ended his season for it. Me and Mr. Holly was actually on his way taking his daughter down to the Carolina College, and we had to listen to this game. And I remember we finished listening to the Steelers game, and then we had to switch it real quick. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on with the Titans? I need to find out about Henry. And when he told me that news, I was heartbroken. But I think I would have took the Titans on this one. That would have been fine. Mr. Holly, who'd you had in this one?
Yeah, I think I would have picked the Titans. But I disagree with you, Darian, on it being an easy pick. I mean, it's a AFC South battle, between two teams. And to be honest with you, the Colts have actually been playing pretty good. Carson Wentz actually been playing pretty good the last couple of weeks. And, you can ask Herman about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he'll tell you how good that running back is for fantasy reasons. So, and I mean, the Colts jumped out on him. Didn't they jump out on him like 14-0?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was definitely within the Colts, probability to win this game. But like you said, I thought that the Titans were more even team, and with Derrick Henry, he just wears defenses down. I mean, he just beats you up, and then he just breaks one. So I thought that they were going to win the game, but I can't necessarily say it was an easy pick.
Marcus,
tell us how you really feel. I definitely would have picked the Titans. I was high on Titans until Henry got hurt. Now I'm not so sure who might. Well, no, I'm sure the Colts are gonna win the division now.
No way.
It ain't gonna be the Titans and the Jacksonville. It ain't gonna be one of those. So
the Titans still win the division without Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know.
Adrian Peterson ain't gonna.
Why didn't they sign Todd Gurley instead of Adrian Peterson? Like, is there something wrong with Todd Gurley still?
they want that running style.
Yeah. And Todd Gurley, I think he has a degenerative knee issue. You can't count on him.
Yeah, that's true.
Peterson has the same run style. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, but I definitely would pick the Titans. But it was a good game. But and didn't Henry hurt himself like near the end?
No, he hurt himself early and came back.
It was second quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came back. He came back and played on that He came back and played on that broken foot, and then I think he had to go back out.
Yeah, so I mean, they won, but I think that's gonna be that's a game that costs you a lot. I don't think they're gonna win the division anymore. I think it's gonna be the Colts. Colts has a pretty good defense. They'll win despite a Wentz, and like I said, who else? The Texans and the Jacksonville are not gonna win. So I just don't believe that the Titans are the same Titans without Derrick Henry. Tannehill, he's been successful in Tennessee because of Derrick Henry. So yeah.
They're not going to go deep in the playoffs as a passing offense.
No. Yeah. Their Super Bowl aspirations, I think, took a diminished. But I think that they can get a running game with AP, and they had a guy back. I can't remember his name right now, but they had the dude. He played, and I mean, they can be successful. They got two good wide receivers outside. They got a decent tight end. They got a decent defense. They can still do something.
Talking about Jeremy McNichols? I think that's his name.
McNichols is
Hey, but you know what? You know what this injury tells me? Tannehill has to put this team on his back and carry him from this point on.
You trust him to do that?
But this is what y'all are missing, okay? And I would have picked the Titans on this because y'all know I'm always on the Titans bandwagon right now. We talking about what the Titans can. If the Colts are the biggest challenge to the Titans for the division, the Titans just beat the Colts without Henry. Henry had 28 carries for 68 yards. That was nothing. 2.4 average. Okay, so we just saw the Titans beat the Colts for the division. All right, they're like, I agree. Their Super Bowl aspirations done. But if the Colts are their biggest challenge to the division, they're gonna win this division. The Colts are not gonna come back. They're like 2.5 games back, I think, from them now. Looking at it might be 3. It's not going to happen. They're not going to catch him, and especially with Carson Wentz doing the stupid stuff that he's doing, like that picky throw. So they'll win the division. They won't be a contender or anything in the playoffs unless somehow some miracle Henry is able to come back. But they'll win the division. Yes, with AP and Nichols running the ball, and Tannehill is serviceable when you don't make him throw 40 to 50 times. He was 23 for 33, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You just got to get rid of those interceptions. They'll be fine.
I disagree, and I think somebody said it in our group chat, losing Derrick Henry is like losing your premier elite quarterback.
It is. I said it. I was the one who said it.
Yeah. So I don't see how if you lose your elite premier quarterback for the season, you're done.
They can win their division.
Yeah. He's saying Herman's arguing 2 different points, though, Marcus. He's not arguing that they're going to win the Super Bowl. He's saying that they still have a good chance to win this division because this division is bad.
It's true. It is.
That's the thing. The division is bad.
Yeah.
So if you only got to get past one team, and that team is 3-5 right now, and they're 1-3 at home, I think they got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, like you said, Herman, they right now have the lead when it comes to the head-to-head with them right now because they got the win. So
exactly.
Right.
And that game was at the Colts too. So the next one's going to be home for the Titans.
Yeah.
Marcus, did you add in on this, Marcus? You all right, Marcus? You need to get some Dunkin' Donuts. You over there yawning. You okay?
I'm fine. Don't be breaking attention.
He's always bored with our show.
Don't be breaking
Did you get a chance to comment on it, Marcus?
Yeah, I did. I just did.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you
Okay.
awake? Do you need something on it?
Yeah. I'm just making sure.
Herbert, you see how he changed the camera angle where we can't see his mic anymore. So he'll be doing
All right. The next game we got coming up.
Oh, Lord. This is a family show, man. It's a family show.
The next game we got coming up is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints won this game 36-27. The Bucks stats: Tom Brady 28 for 40, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Leading rusher was 2 carries for Giovanni Bernard, 2 carries for 30 yards. Leading receiver Chris Godwin, 8 receptions, 440 yards, 1 touchdown. For the Saints, Trevor Siemian had to come in and play come in after Winston got hurt. 16 for 29, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 19 carries for 61 yards, 1 touchdown. The leading receiver with three receptions. You had a tie between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And this one, Herman, I'll let you start us off. Who'd you had in this one?
I was definitely picking the Saints. No. Nah, I was picking the Bucks on this one, man. Y'all know I don't believe in Jameis Winston. This was a good game. It's like the Saints. There was a stat. The Saints are the only team to beat Tom Brady 3 times in a row, I think, now.
Yep, in the regular season.
In the regular season. And the only other team to do that, I forget what other team it was, but it took them like 5 seasons to do it because like they don't play them that often, I guess.
Wow.
but you know, this makes for interesting with the NFC South, a really interesting division. I mean, because you know, the Saints they put it on Tom Brady and the Bucks. You know, Brady threw 4, you know, he had good stats and everything. They couldn't get their run game going. And the Saints defense is it's a lot better than I think what's being advertised. A lot of people don't really realize how good their defense is. Now, the question, right? The question about
that's wrong.
The question about their offense now is going to be who's going to be their quarterback. You know,
I think they revert back to what they were doing with Taysom Hill last year or the year before that, whatever year it was.
Is he healthy though? Is Taysom Hill healthy?
When he gets healthy.
Yeah, he's got to get healthy. But if Jameis hadn't hung him out there to get that concussion like he did,
Here we go.
It might be all right. But Trevor Siemian played pretty decently. You know, when you look at his stat line, he played pretty decent. But yeah, I would have picked the Bucks on this one. I mean, I wouldn't have picked against Tom Brady versus Jameis Winston. I was picking Brady.
Brian, who'd you had in this one?
I wanted to say that I would have picked the Saints too. You know, I think that probably would have been my thing, but in my mind, I think I would have picked the Bucks. Like Herman said, the Bucks were the better team. They were questionable. They're going to be questionable in the backfield, but like Herman said, you didn't expect Jameis to take advantage of that. And I don't know what was up with Tom Brady. I mean, if you look at the stat line, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he threw 2 ugly picks, and I think one was a pick 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got baited. He got baited into that one too.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that when my rundown part so they ran a concept like a deep drag, and I think it was a touchdown or a big game, but he caught the safety in the slipping like on the hash. So what happened was he sat on the hash in that same spot on that play that they ran. He knew they was running it. Pick 6.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what it is with the Saints, because like Herman was saying, he's 2-4 against the Saints' career. And you don't see those type of, you always see, Tom like 14-2 against some squad or something like that. He's always dominating. So they definitely have something with Tom, and they got his number somehow. But you got to give it to Siemian. I mean, Siemian came in, like you said, threw for like 159 yards, threw a touchdown. Managed the game, he kept dunking the ball off to the running backs, and didn't make the hard play. Alvin Kamara, and he just took what the defense gave him. I mean, it was a really good game, and Tom was the one that made the mistakes, and the Saints came out with the victory.
Marcus,
yeah, I definitely would have picked the Bucks, but it's crazy because Tampa Bay pretty much led in every statistic except time of possession and turnovers, and that's what killed them is turnovers and time of possession, and actually rushing yards too. They New Orleans had 152 compared to Tampa Bay's 71, and that's that'll lose you games. And it's funny because for the one quarterback I think the only quarterback in history in the NFL to have a victory against every team. He still has bad luck against New Orleans, at least in the regular season. He beat him when it counted last year in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he just doesn't have any luck. But I'm just impressed with New Orleans defense because that's what put them over. I think you contribute that to them.
And you give Sean Payton a little pat on the back too, Marcus. That offensive game plan he had was nice.
Darren?
I went with the Bucks too for my pick. I thought the Bucks were actually going to come in and blow New Orleans out, but I probably just wasn't taking them as seriously as I should have. But their defense is definitely legit. I think they'll make the playoffs as a wild card. I think the Bucks will probably still win the division, but I definitely think the Bucks. You just got to reevaluate some things. Like, how do you lose to a team that just lost their quarterback mid-game and one of their best playmakers on their offense right now? Taysom Hill is also hurt. But, I mean, that's what happens when you check every box on how to lose a football game. Turn the ball over. Don't run the ball effectively. Give up 30 points on defense. You're not going to win a football game like that. So.
Yep, you're right.
So, Darren, you think Trevor Siemian is going to get them to the playoffs? Or you think that it's going to be Taysom Hill?
I think it'll be Taysom Hill. Essentially, that leads them to the playoffs. But more, I don't want to say by committee because we're talking about quarterback here. But it's such an odd situation where you're going to have your quarterback running off the field every 2 plays and another one coming in and running option and stuff. So I would say it's more of a committee type of thing. That's kind of the best way I can explain it. It's just such a weird thing. I don't, you know. What I mean?
Another big thing I failed to mention was Tampa Bay. They played a very sloppy game. Had 11 penalties compared to New Orleans 2. So
were they in New Orleans?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were in.
Yeah, they were in New Orleans. Yeah, that was very uncharacteristic for them.
Yeah.
I think on this one too, I would have took Tampa on this one. I wouldn't have thought that Jameis would have first been able to lead this team to victory, not against Tampa. But he went out early in this game. You think that was a dirty play that he hurt on?
Yeah.
You think so?
It was a horse collar. It was a horse collar. That's the whole reason why it's a penalty now.
It wasn't a horse collar.
It was a horse collar.
It was a horse collar because of
it was a horse collar.
Didn't he grab him here?
He grabbed him in the back.
They called it a horse collar, I believe. Right?
They called it
a horse collar.
It wasn't the traditional horse collar that we're used to seeing. It was a weird
but
angle.
But the angle, how his body was sitting and how his leg planted, that's what made the whole injury terrible.
If he didn't get hurt on that play, they wouldn't have threw a penalty.
You think so? That was my next question.
I think they would have. I think they would have because his hand was back there.
Honestly,
you can't put your hand back there though.
The reason they threw a penalty is because of the way his body contorted, and if he wouldn't have got hurt like that, they wouldn't have called a penalty because he didn't grab him back here. He grabbed him here or wherever.
He grabbed him in the middle of his.
It was the middle of his back. Yeah, that's
the middle of his back.
It was the middle of his back.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was a fluke thing. I don't think it was dirty. I don't think it was intentional.
I agree.
You couldn't even hurt someone intentionally like that. Like there was no way you knew that was going to happen. But
New Orleans got a tough task now. They got to do it without Wentz. So we see how that's going to roll out for them. The next game we'll get into is the Washington football team taking on the Denver Broncos.
We can go through this one pretty fast because we got a more important game coming up after this one. So
that game was not on the run.
Yes, it was on the rundown.
Mr. Howley.
I don't see it.
Yeah,
Mr. Howley, who's hosting the show?
I don't see it.
Who's hosting?
I just don't want Marcus. Marcus get long-winded, so I just wanted to let Marcus know don't be long-winded.
That game was.
It was on the rundown.
In this particular game,
it was Sunday night.
Okay.
In this game, the Denver Broncos won 17-10. The stats: Tyler Heineke for the Redskins for the Washington team.
I would have picked the Washington football team.
24. He's so salty. Stop being salty, Marcus. 29 for 30, 24 for 39, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jarrett Patterson, 11 carries for 46 yards. Leading receiver was J.D. McKissick, 8 receptions for 83 yards. For the Broncos, you had Teddy Bridgewater, 19 for 26, 213 yards, 1 touchdown. Melvin Gordon, 10 carries, 47 yards, 1 touchdown. Tim Patrick, 3 catches for 64 yards. Herman, who did you have in this one?
Y'all know what? I was actually picking the WTF team on this one. Last time I watched the Broncos play, I just wasn't very impressed with them. But WTF does what WTF does. I just got one stat for y'all. 1 for 3 on field goals. My man Chris
Blew
Blewett. My favorite kicker in the NFL right now, Chris Blewett.
Well, he's going to be gone soon, Herman, so don't get too happy with him.
Man, y'all know as soon as I saw the name, I had to jump in the group chat. I was like, yo, that is the worst name a kicker could ever have. Just period. So, yeah, I would have picked.
Besides Gano?
Yeah,
which one do you think is worse, Herman? Blewett or Gano?
Blewett.
Blewett is worse.
Blewett is terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. But I mean, just Blewett. But he's got problems. But yeah, I would have picked.
Darren, who you have in this one?
I took the Broncos on this one. I'll never pick Washington to win a game in my life. I mean that, and I'm standing on it. I'm gonna say the stat again because I was cut off earlier when I was trying to tell it to y'all. Washington's offensive line.
He muted you again.
Why you being dirty?
That dude is dirty.
Why you being dirty?
I didn't even want to pick this stupid game. Goddamn.
Hey, come on, man. Yeah, like I was saying, Malik Reed, 2 sacks. Draymond Jones, 1.5 sacks. Stephon Weatherly, 1 sack. Shelby Harris, 0.5 sacks in one game.
In one game?
In one game.
Gosh.
And he didn't even say Von Miller's name.
Or Bradley Chubb.
Or Brad. Oh, is Bradley back? I didn't know he was back in that game.
Mr. Holly, who you have in this one, sir?
Man, I would have went with the Broncos on this one. Herman is right, though. The Broncos weren't impressive, but neither is Washington. You know, I just don't think Washington has the quarterback right now that they need to be successful, and their defense is just letting them down. I mean, when you put up 342 offensive yards and halftime of possession, you would think that you could win this game, but they lost a turnover battle 2-1, and the Broncos offense was 53% on third downs. So you're not going to win like that. Oh, and the fun stat, the WTF is 4-13 versus non-divisional opponents since 2020. 4-13.
Oh, one more stat since you were talking about their defense. The Broncos.
Y'all ain't gonna keep disrespecting my team like this.
Nope.
Y'all this show about to be about to end this broadcast right now.
Maybe you should pick a new team.
3 Broncos receivers over 10 yards per catch, 2 of them over 20. Washington can't stop the big play. That's what's wrong with
They can't stop any play.
Yeah.
Given the Chiefs defense is the same.
No. Don't make the Chiefs defense that bad.
Don't make the Chiefs defense.
They 31-32.
Yeah.
So they are.
Chiefs defense is still better.
31-32. They
Chiefs defense don't have like 4 number 1 starters on their defensive line. I don't want to hear it.
That is true. Y'all don't have a reason to be bad on defense.
Right.
Yeah, on this particular game, I think my heart would have said one thing, my head said the other. It'd have been Denver had I chosen this one. I mean, you guys hit on everything. The time possession, Washington was winning on, but they gave up too much on the turnover battle. I don't know what to say about this team, man. I really don't. Taylor Heineke is not the answer right now either. So I don't know where the team goes from here, man. But we got to see. I don't know.
Fitzpatrick.
Marcus, who you had in this one, Marcus?
I'd have picked the Washington football team. I mean, you'll say where we go. I personally don't think Heineke is the problem. I think the offensive play call is the problem, and the defense is the problem. The defense is the problem. I stand.
Did the defense throw those interceptions?
Listen, the defense can't stop nobody. That's what happened. Okay,
they scored 17. Y'all put 342 yards of offense on the field. Y'all should have scored more in the red zone, not turn the ball over. You can't put this. The defense does suck, but no.
Move on to the next team. I'm tired of talking about this nonsense. Move on to the next team. Let's go to the next.
All right, we're gonna move into the next game, so we get the show moving.
Should I? Oh, did you say Marcus? Who did you say you picking?
You said you picked the Washington football team too.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure somebody else picked them.
You did.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I thought you said you picked Denver.
No, I said Washington.
Hey, Marcus, we're gonna move on from this game. Next game we got is the The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Minnesota
I
Vikings.
spent a lot of time on this game.
Dallas won. They won 20. Oh my God! They won 20-16. The stats. Cooper Rush 24 for 40, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Ezekiel Elliott 16 carries, 50 yards. Leading receiver Amari Cooper 8 catches for 122 yards, 1 touchdown.
Amari, not Ahmad.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Yeah.
Listen, when
I
you
said
say
Amari
Cowboys
Cooper.
players' names, you say them right.
Thank you.
Nobody care about them.
That Cooper Bama. Anyway, the Vikings. Kirk Cousins 23 for 35, 184 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook 18 carries, 78 yards. Leading receiver Adam Thielen 6 carries for 78 yards. I'm gonna go first in this one. I would have took, because of that quarterback not starting for you all. I would have took the Vikings on this one.
You wouldn't have known
I would have lost up on this one.
You wouldn't have known.
What's that?
We locked picks on what was it, Friday?
We pick on Tuesday.
Right, it wouldn't decide the game. I still would have told y'all.
He would have known. Hold on. He would have known that Dak might not play.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have told y'all.
Might not after a bye week is not the same.
Yeah.
Might not. That was a game time decision.
The probability of him not playing was high. But I mean, Cooper Rush did pretty good. He came in and did a good job, especially leading you guys to that the final drive to get the touchdown. That was smooth. That was good. So I wouldn't have picked y'all Bama's no way, but y'all won. Yeah. Marcus, who you got?
I would have picked the Cowboys, probably regardless if Dak would have, if I known Dak was gonna play or not, simply because who the other quarterback was. You know, I never support that Bama. I'm not surprised if they got beat by a backup quarterback because it's who they are. So yeah, I would have picked the Cowboys and I would have been right.
All right, the next game we got is the New York Giants.
No, Monfred. We're going to salivate on this one.
No, we ain't. What we going to salivate?
We marinating on this one. The show can go on, can be off as soon as we finish with this one.
Go ahead, Brian.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I was nervous about this game. We did the show Wednesday. I probably would have picked the Cowboys because I was confident that Dak was going to play. I've been constantly listening to Cowboys broadcasts to see how his status was. They said he sore on Thursday, but I'm like, that's normal. He should be playing. They said like before the game that his little workout or whatever was fantastic, but they decided to set him. So once I found out that Cooper Rush, I mean, I was in the car with Mark. You could tell that I wasn't very happy about that. I was nervous.
I was gonna say that. Normally he is so hyped and so. He was quiet as a church mouse. He couldn't get. He didn't get excited for it.
And then that first drive when the Vikings went right down the field and scored, and then we went out, and then I'm like, oh crap, they're gonna get up by 14. This game's gonna get out of hand. But the defense. I think that was the point I was about to turn the game off too. Yeah, but this Cowboys defense is something for real, y'all. Y'all just don't know. You know that we were like that. The Vikings were 1 for 11 on third downs. They were 7% on third downs. The Cowboys were 50% on third downs and put up 419 offensive yards on this vaunted Vikings defense with a backup quarterback. The Vikings only scored that one touchdown. Everything else was field goals. And then when they had to have it at the end of the game, Kirk Cousins, like Marcus said, Kirk Cousins couldn't do it. And what I didn't think about was it was a primetime game. Come on now. Kirk always folds when it's prime time. So I was very excited, very happy. This was a great win for this team. And y'all better pay attention, man. We headed to somewhere. We headed somewhere big.
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Darian, who's you having this one?
So I picked the Cowboys with my heart. Had we been playing any top 10, 12 quarterback, whatever, I probably wouldn't have picked the Cowboys. But since we were playing Kirk Cousins on primetime, I still, I thought we could have picked this win up. I think this just shows how balanced that the Cowboys are as a whole, though. You got Zeke didn't play that good, first 2.5 quarters of the game, picks it up at the end. While Zeke's not playing good, you got Amari and CD both carving their secondary up. You got even Cooper Rush. I mean, he didn't play bad at all. He threw the pick in the first half, but he came back and he did what he needed to do, let a game-winning drive.
He threw that dime to Wilson, Darian.
Yeah.
He threw that dime to Wilson.
Cover 2 seam right now in the middle.
Yes.
Catch and run. It feels good to be able to, go in the games confident, just actually have confidence in my team, But that's all I got. I ain't gonna let it go too far.
Herman, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, so I would have picked Dallas regardless. When we would have picked on Wednesday. I really thought Dak was honestly going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Even going into the pregame workout, they worked him out like they were talking about on the broadcast. They said they don't even understand why they worked him out that hard.
Yeah,
they turned around.
Because they knew he wasn't going to play.
Yeah, it's like he could have re-injured himself. He worked out so hard, but
you know what it was? They were like, "Oh, we playing against Kirk Cousins."
I think that I honestly think that they gambled. I really think that they gambled and said, "You know what? Let's hold him back." He could have played that game. I think they just gambled at it, and the gamble paid off. The defense was the key in this one because, like you said, when they went down the field and scored, and then we went 3 and out or whatever. When I wanted to turn the game off was when we missed that first field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, here we go. I was sitting there,
and it was like
quiet.
a 38. It
was nothing long, and I was just like, here we go. But the defense, in a dome. The defense. Everybody's been telling me, I've been saying, I don't know about our defense yet. Everybody's at work and everybody's like, oh man, them boys is looking good. And I'm like, one game at a time. I'm still worrying about the defense. But what the defense did right there, and the fact that we still got people coming back off of IR, Dallas is gonna be is a team to reckon with.
Hey, and shout out to Zimmer. Y'all talking about our coach always having bad calls and plays when it comes to the clock. He called 2 timeouts back to back. Went from like a 3rd and 17 to a 3rd and 11. And what does Zeke do? Get the first down, and we got the touchdown. Thank you, Zimmerman.
You're not supposed to be able to call timeouts.
You can't. It's a penalty.
No, you can't. Well, they said that normally the refs won't acknowledge the second one,
but they did.
But because they did, they had to give them the penalty.
Which is a weird rule because y'all know y'all supposed to ignore me.
Yeah.
But then y'all the ones that gave it to me, but now I'm penalized for it. So yeah, that's a weird rule. But yeah, it was a game. I thought Minnesota would be a lot better than what they showed on the field. I really did.
Why?
I've always maintained Minnesota
on a 3-game win.
Because if you look at their last games, they all their games were pretty competitive. They played the Cardinals to the end. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, Minnesota always they all this season, man. I don't know which team's coming to play with them. I really don't.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They really are.
I just wonder if this game will have the Matt what's the name, Matt Straub effect on Cooper Rush.
Matt Straub, nah. He's gonna have to do more than one.
Yeah,
game.
no, yeah, he would need to play again this week and maybe next week for that to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't Matt Flynn get a contract off of 1 game though? Prime time.
He did. He should have did.
Well, look, if anybody's gonna get it, last week it was Mike White.
Mike White.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
All right, let's move on.
Who used to be a Cowboys quarterback?
Yeah, they made sure to say that multiple times.
Really? When?
Yeah, we drafted him in the 5th round. When?
It
was
3 years ago or something like that.
It was like
like 18 or 17 or something. Long time.
All right, can we move on to the show, fellas?
I guess, man, but I really enjoy this conversation.
The last game we got to do here, and we can take our picks for next week, is the New York Giants taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs won this 20-17. Patrick Mahomes, real quick, 29 for 48, 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Darrell Williams, 13 carries for 49 yards. Derek Gore came from nowhere, 11 carries, 48 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 12 catches, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. For the Giants, the G-Men, Danny Dimes, 22 for 32, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, all them 2s, and 1 interception. Devontae Brooks, hey, can you put the chains down? Thank you.
I put it down, sir. Sorry about that.
Devontae Brooks, 15 carries for 60 yards. And then the He was also the leading receiver with 5 catches, 65 yards. John Ross came in with 2 catches, 72 yards. Who do you have in this one, Brian?
I would have picked the Chiefs in this one, and this game was boring, sloppy, and the Chiefs Nation, you still need to be worried because y'all still don't have it. Mahomes is still working too hard, trying to do too much. Kept the Giants in this game. They should have dominated the Giants, but they let the Giants just hang around because they just the defense, like I was saying earlier, it played okay, but it is terrible. And Mahomes is just doing too much. I don't know what they got to do to get that guy straight, but y'all are still in trouble. Y'all ain't gonna win nothing the way he's playing.
Herman?
Yeah, I would have picked the Chiefs on this one.
hey, Herman, real quick too.
Yep.
I forgot to say this. You know the Chiefs had 12 accepted penalties in that game. 12.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd have took Kansas City, but Kansas City kept New York around too long. They New York does not have what's the name? The running back
Barkley, Saquon Barkley.
And they Devontae played pretty well, but they don't have any weapons. The Kansas City should have blew this team out.
Yeah, Galladay was out too.
Yeah, and they lost their receivers in this game too. So yeah, I'd have took Kansas City on this one.
Look, don't worry, the Giants will get all of those players back the week that they play the Cowboys. I promise you. You watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Not going to matter, but that's just how it's going to happen.
Nah, I picked the Chiefs too. I still don't think the Chiefs are looking too good, like y'all said. The Giants, they're just a bad team though. So I knew the Chiefs were going to slip by with a win, but they shouldn't measure or judge themselves based off of anything that they saw in this game besides the bad. They need to go back, take the bad stuff, pull it out that film, improve on that, and the rest of that, whatever they did good, just toss it in the trash because it shouldn't even count to me, to be honest. Like, they played sloppy. They let a bad team stick around for too long. And honestly, if the Giants were healthy, like with their full team, they might have beat the Chiefs, honestly.
You're right. I mean, if they had a little bit more firepower on offense.
I mean, what was it, a 3-point game? And they were missing 3 of their starters on offense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what their problem is, though, Darian? The offensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
The clapper.
Yes, sir. Run on first, run on second, play action pass.
Marcus, go ahead and take us out of here with it. Who you had in this one?
Yeah, I definitely would have picked the Chiefs, but only because it's the Giants. I mean, like we've all said, the Chiefs look terrible. Like Darian said, they shouldn't take anything good from this game at all. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They can't be the good team.
I was scared to say that.
They can't be the good team. I mean, right? Like Brian said, Mahomes is doing too much. Defense is terrible. I don't think I've ever seen a worse Super Bowl hangover than this. I mean,
just remember their biggest competition in the AFC West is the Raiders. They still got a chance.
The Chargers.
Oh, I forgot about the Chargers. Why you leave the Chargers out of that division? Yeah, you're right. They ain't going to playoffs. Why you leave the Chargers out of that division? I don't know why.
They're definitely not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
They need to do a whole reset and figure out what's going on. And it's If
you think it's just a case of like letting everything get to their head, like, oh, we the big bad Chiefs, like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, Darian, because they could have fixed this by now. They could have fixed this by now if it was that. It's something bigger.
Well, the defense has been bad for years. But
the offense always scored so much. The defense could be one-dimensional, like the third and fourth quarter.
It made up for the mistakes on defense. It made up for it.
But you can't depend on just one aspect of the game forever. It may work a season.
They did it the last 2 years and went to the Super Bowl.
No, but that's true because you're not going to be able to outscore the league every year. Like, even it's arguable right now that Justin Herbert might be playing the best in that division. Mahomes might not be the best quarterback in that division right now. So it's like you can't rely on your offense forever.
I mean, you can give Carr a nod on that too. Carr is balling.
Yeah. Both Carr and Herbert are better than Mahomes right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's true. All right, so we will get into the next week's picks. So we can get started with this one. You got the Thursday night game. The 2-5 Jets taking on the 3-5 Colts. I'm gonna start out with this one. I'm taking the Colts in this one. I think they bounce back. Brian, who you got?
Colts are giving up 10.5 by Vegas. I'm with you, Mark. Even though the Jets were very impressive last week, and I kind of wanted to slip them in, I'm gonna stick with the Colts.
Marcus?
Yeah, I would never pick the Jets. I'm picking the Colts.
Herman?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Colts on this one.
Darian?
I hate to pick Carson Wentz, but I'm not picking the Jets. So
All right. Next game we got the 7-1 Arizona Cardinals taking on the 3-4 49ers. Darian, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think they bounced back from that bad loss last week, especially off the last play. I think they're gonna be refocused. So
Yeah, I'm agree with you on that one. I'm taking the Cardinals on it. Herman?
I don't think this game is going to be what everybody thinks it's going to be. I'd like to know if AJ Green unretired yet. But, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cardinals on this one. But it's going to be a close game.
Marcus?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals, but I really want to see how healthy Kyler Murray really is. If he doesn't, if he's limping and all that stuff and doesn't look that great, then 49ers, I think the 49ers will put this out. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cardinals for right now because I don't know. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to safe bet and go to Cardinals.
Brian?
And Vegas is only Cardinals are giving up 1 in this one, so they almost is basically a pick me. I picked the Cardinals.
All right. Sunday night game, we got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The 4-4 Cleveland Browns taking on the 5-3 Cincinnati Bengals. Herman, who you got in this one?
I'm going with the Bengals.
Bengals.
Like we said, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC just recently. This could be a good divisional game, though. But
they lost to the Jets, Herman.
That's okay. I mean, you're all going to get that one game where you just you lay the egg. I'm going with the Bengals, no doubt.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals too. Right now, I'm at the beginning of the season, I was on the Browns bandwagon. Now I'm off. It just they seem to be in turmoil. We got OBJ's dad talking stuff. Baker Mayfield ain't the answer.
Who? Bakerfield?
Bakerfield.
Bakerfield.
He's not the answer. They can only win if they're in the league. He's not coming back. He's not having no fourth quarter comebacks, leading the game winning drives. And right now the Bengals are they had a bad week against the Jets last week, but they're definitely more explosive on defense and especially on offense than the Browns. So I'm taking the Bengals.
I don't know if the Bengals defense is better than the Browns, but the Browns have a pretty good defense.
Brian?
The Bengals giving up 2.5. I agree with you guys, man. I think the Browns are cooked, man. Give me the Bengals.
Gary?
I'm going with the Bengals on this one. I think the Browns are starting to turn into the old Browns, dysfunctional, locker room fight and all that stuff. I don't think this game is going to be close. Actually, I would take Cincinnati with the spread, to be honest.
Did y'all see that thing about Odell being away from the team like indefinitely or something?
Yeah, he was sent home today.
Yeah.
Only thing he didn't do was sit ups in his driveway.
That's real shady right there, huh? That's real shady.
Hey, Herman, did Darian know about that? Darian too young to know about that, ain't he?
That was that long ago?
That wasn't that long
T.O.?
T.O. You know about that one, don't you?
Yeah, he knows about that.
Okay. All right.
You acting like that was 95 or something.
All right, we got the Texans 1-7 taking on the Miami Dolphins 1-7. This is for the bottom of the toilet bowl. I'm gonna take the Dolphins on this one, y'all.
See,
I don't know. Brian, who you got?
Man, the Dolphins are giving up 6.5 in this game, so I'm with you, Mark. I'm gonna ride with Vegas and pick the Dolphins.
Darian?
How are they favored by 6? Okay.
it's the Texans.
I'll agree with
And
you.
in Miami, so
For the 2021 Tank Bowl, I'm going with the Dolphins.
Herman?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Dolphins. I was high on the Dolphins early this year too. Again, going back to them picks, boy, I was high on the Dolphins. Man, whew, So yeah.
Oh,
I'm rolling with the
yeah.
Dolphins.
Matter of fact, I never got on you for saying the Dolphins were gonna be better than the Bills.
Yeah, I think I did have them winning the division. Hey, what you do?
Marcus.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I have no faith in Miles Davis, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the Dolphins.
And who?
Whatever the quarterback name is, Miles
Isn't it
Davis.
Miles Davis Mills?
He said Miles Davis.
I don't know.
It's like what? It's like what?
Hey, look, I thought he meant Miles Gaskins, the running back for the Dolphins.
Davis Miles.
Oh.
What's the quarterback name?
Hey, Marcus
Davis-
is good with this man.
Davis
Baker
Mills.
Mayfield, now Miles Davis.
I'm just gonna call him Miles Davis. That's the name to me. Miles Davis is his name.
Man, this dude.
All right. We got the Sunday night game. The Tennessee Titans taking on the LA Rams. Titans are 6-2. Rams are 7-1. Herman, who you got in this one?
This hurts my heart. I'm always on their bandwagon, but I got to roll with the Rams on this one. Rams at home. They just added this new piece to their defense, so I guess we get to see Von Miller unveiled, and then the Titans without Henry. It's going to be a little bit too much for them to get over this hump, so I'm going with the Rams.
Brian?
Yeah, the Rams are giving up 7.5 in this one. Like Herman said, without King Henry, I just don't think the Titans are going to be able to keep up offensively. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking I had to go to Rams too. I think if they'd had King Henry, I think I'd be going the other way. I'll be honest with you. Darren, who you got?
I'm going with the Rams, and I probably would have picked the Rams even if they had Derrick Henry. To be honest, I think that defense is going to come out so excited, knowing that they got a new toy to play with. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, we about to get out the quarterback. We can stop the run. We can do whatever we want." And it's like we got an offense that's kind of in shambles right now. They're going to be kind of trying to piece together a new game plan, try to figure out what they're going to do without their star running back. And they're going against the best defense in the league, which just got better. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Marcus?
Yeah, I picked the Rams, and I would have picked him even if Derrick Henry was there, but definitely since he's not there, I'm picking the Rams. It's a home game too.
I wouldn't have picked the Rams if Derrick Henry was playing. I would have actually picked the Titans. Yeah, I thought about picking the Titans this week just because I feel like they're going to try to come out and make a statement.
Now they're going to get a statement made on them to the NFC.
Adrian Peterson is not the answer. I don't know why he went there.
No,
I mean, he hopefully he can just run hard. He's not going to get the breakaways, but if he can get positive yards running through the A gap,
he just got to move the chains. He's got to move the chains.
You got to think about how much of a downgrade that is from what you're coming from. Though you're coming from a guaranteed positive gain every play.
Did you just call a Hall of Fame running back a downgrade?
Yes, at this stage.
At 36, you kind of got him at 36.
They went from a Maserati to a Pinto.
Listen. If I buy a Ferrari and it's a 1989 and it's all beat up, nobody cares. You know what I mean?
It's a classic.
Classic piece of junk.
It ain't.
You know what?
It
Hey, this is gonna be interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is. All right, we got the last game, Monday night game. We got the 3-5 Bears taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Darian, who you got in this one?
So I want to go with the Bears because I feel like Fields can make a statement, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I feel like that's a safe pick and they're the overall better team. Even though the defense got a little weaker without Melvin Ingram, I still think they're gonna beat the Bears. So
Marcus?
It's against the Bears in Pittsburgh. You know I'm taking the Steelers.
Oh, it's in Pittsburgh. Oh yeah.
Brian?
The Bears. And the Bears are giving up 5.5. I'm sorry, the Steelers are giving up 5.5 in this one, but I'm gonna go with the Bears, man. I think Justin Fields might actually he had a pretty good game last week. I think he does a little further. And y'all remember, Bears got a defense, man, and the Steelers ain't really did nothing on no offense.
Whose offense is worse, the Bears or the Steelers?
Yeah, I think it's a push.
Gosh, yeah.
I think
That's why I asked.
this may be an outrageous prediction. Steelers gonna make the playoffs. I say Steelers make the playoffs.
Who?
As what,
Steelers.
7 seed wild card?
I say
What, like 7
what?
and 8, 9 and 8, whatever it would be?
they'll make as a wild card. I ain't gonna say the record, but Steelers make the playoffs.
Herman?
You care to put a
who you
little
got?
wager on that, sir?
No, I don't.
I'm picking.
We can do it after the show. Let's get it moving.
I'm picking the Steelers. And the only reason really I'm picking the Steelers is because the Bears are coached by Matt Nagy.
Can I get my music, please?
Oh,
Brian.
Yeah, wait, Mark has to pick.
As much as I want to believe this, I do think the Steelers are going to be victorious in this one. You are long wolfing this week, baby. I'm taking Steelers. All right.
Let me go brush up my cap for next week when I'm the only one.
Nah, you mean you gonna knock the dust off that dust hat? That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, make sure the spinner still works. Spin a couple times. Put a little bit of grease on there so it spins smoothly.
Ooh.
Hey, so that wraps up the show for today, fellas. I'm like I say, I'm glad to be back this week. Then we're gonna just talk about our final thought. Darian, we let you start us off with any. What's the final thoughts you have?
Well, first, thanks for having me. Of course. But my final thought. Sorry, I was a little delayed. Now, my final thought. So I don't know if y'all remember the last time I was on the show, but I was talking about fantasy a lot. I just like to retract all them statements I made. My teams are terrible. I'm not playing anymore. He thinks I'm done playing fantasy. Y'all gonna have to find a new spot for me. All that. So, yeah, I'm done. That's. But no, it was fun being on the show again. I definitely wanted to be back, and just hope everybody stays safe out there.
Yeah, my final thoughts is, man, my Steelers, we trying to make a run here. We're proving why we chose Najee Harris as the number one draft choice. Look out. That's all I can say. Look out. Brian?
Man, just on a serious note, man, everybody just try to be safe, man. You keep hearing these stories of these people walking up to people's houses, trying to break in. It was recently a lady, this guy went to her house with like rope or something and straps and was trying to break in her house for like 15 minutes and she called the cops. So
saw that video.
Yeah. Make sure you guys lock your doors, lock your cars, man. I don't know what's going on with this younger generation, man, but it's getting scary out here. Be safe.
Herman?
Yeah, I just reiterate that, especially what Brian just said about being safe and enjoy life, but be safe. But it's some craziness out there, and like Brian said, this younger generation, some of these younger generations. I got a story for y'all that I'll tell y'all off the air. That happened on Halloween, and it's crazy. It's just crazy sometimes. But be safe, and parents, know what your kids are doing. You need to know what your kids are doing.
Marcus, wrap us up.
Well, to copy what Herman and Brian said, be safe, and also, you can also move to a state with with some not so harsh gun laws, like I live in, and help protect yourself. That's what,
that's not a problem.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying though. They be walking around with them joints right there.
So before we get out of here, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. We also on Instagram at the official Layer Game. We're on Twitter at the Layer Game 3, and you can catch us on Facebook in our Facebook group, the Lay of Game. We will see you next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and we meet it this time. I know we said it like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. This time we meet it.
We'll be back.
See you next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out.
Peace.